With this 90-90 variation, we're going to be focusing on internal rotation. So as I raise my knee off the ground, I'm driving that opposite knee into the floor, trying to keep the knees as far apart the whole time. This middle position, again, driving the knees apart using the hip muscles. And as I take that left hip into internal rotation, as I bring the knee into the floor, I'm trying to remain nice and upright. And I'm going to drive that knee and ankle joint into the ground as hard as I can. Going to contract for 5 to 10 seconds, and then we're going to do a few reps on that same hip. Come back down, and you can see how when I'm pivoting, I'm kind of lifting my heel off the floor and pivoting more on the ball of my foot. That's what we want to achieve if possible. This is also the slightly easier progression with my hands on the ground behind my body. Even so, with doing this, I still want to remain nice and tall, nice tall posture. And yeah, we want to have tension in the body. So we've got to hold, take air in, create that intra-abdominal pressure in the midsection, stay tight and really control your breathing. So now here we're just transitioning to the other side, and we're about to start challenging that right hip internal rotation. So same thing, bring the knee down to the floor. I'm going to drive that right ankle joint and right knee joint into the ground as hard as I can, contract for 5 to 10 seconds, and then do a few reps on this side. Again, we're trying to disassociate one hip from the other. We're also trying to dissociate the torso from the hip. So that's why we need to keep the torso very still while doing these, taking the hip into internal rotation. We don't want to compensate throughout the body. We need to remain tight and create that tension throughout the whole body. This is where the breathing becomes really important. All right, guys, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you a slightly harder progression. It's exactly the same thing, but all we do now is take the hands away and we clasp them together so we can actually squeeze, and we use the upper body to create tension throughout the whole body. So the whole time I'm squeezing my hands together, and we're just doing the same thing, trying to remain nice and tall, nice and upright, trying to disassociate the torso from the hips, and then we're trying to disassociate one hip from the other hip. And yeah, we just do the same thing we did with the easier progression. It's just now the hands are not on the floor. With this, go slow. It's more about the control. It's a very humbling process. Like even me going through this, I don't do it, perfect. I've got work to do here myself. So just use this as a bit of a guide, and see how you go.